like action. Guys,
Yes.
I'm so excited. The reason you're hearing that behind the scenes chit chat is because this girl who's about to share with us today has been a friend of mine for a while. She's so down to earth. She's so fun. And it's really a privilege and honor for me to introduce you guys out there to those other light workers who truly become my friends over the course of my own journey. And that is my friend, Stephanie Engelsman. So, girl, we're so excited that you're here. You've been doing this work for the same amount of time that I have been, because as soon as I came on the scene, I definitely noticed you and noticed that you were out there doing your thing. Give us an update on what your thing is, what it is that you're currently doing. Like, just give us the quick introduction of who you are, because we're going to get into a really cool exercise with you today. And I want to have plenty of time for everyone to experience the cool stuff that you do. So give us the abridged version of you while we've got some people joining on here.
Sure. Thanks, Emily, and welcome everybody who's joining in today. As I drink my water. So the work that I have come into, I've decided to focus on, has to do with human behavior and perception. So in order to live a harmonious life, it's really important to understand that what we're perceiving is actually a reality that we want to live. So the work that I do is the study of the conscious mind and the unconscious mind and the relationship they have together and how we can tap into that relationship so that we can create a reality that when we perceive it, we're actually living a harmonious life.
I love it. Well, did you hear that?
I heard that. There's going to be some glitches, I think, because I don't know, whenever I go on the computer, it glitches out.
Well, whenever power on and try to use this device, this internet thing that we've got going on here, sometimes circuits get blown. So I don't know what was just in there. But I love that you use the word relationship, because I was just talking to the members of the Akashic Academy earlier today in our intuitive development class about that importance of creating that relationship, that dialogue back and forth with the greater beyond, the reality that we're experiencing, what's going on internally, because there's so much more going on here than what meets the eye.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, they say, I heard that. Nancy heard that too. Personally. You're funny, Nancy. Yeah. So in your experience, my friend, what begins to happen? Like when we start to have this nice dialogue, this nice relationship back and forth with the conscious, subconscious minds, when it's working nicely, what do we hope to experience in our life?
What I have found in my experience here in this lifetime is that people basically want to know who they are. And their deepest desire, pardon me, they really want to know who they are. And they surround themselves with many, many material items. And those items are actually like a reflection of who you are. So people identify themselves with their stuff on the outside. And when they look around and accumulate their things, a lot of times people sort of get down on themselves, even though they've accumulated wealth or they've accumulated material items. They look at these things and they still feel a sense of loss. They don't really understand what it is that they're missing. So the outer world, yes, is a reflection of the inner world. But what we really want to do is we want to make the connection inside to our deepest desires inside. And that desire resides in our unconscious mind. What we truly want in life is embedded in the unconscious mind. So people typically would have noticed is they sort of do life in a reactionary mode. So they react to things. Instead of going down deep inside, relaxing and finding out what are their true desires and then bringing that up to the consciousness. So how it works is you've got the higher conscious, which we call the universe. And then that universal energy pumps information down into the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind acts like a relay system, and then it relays that to the conscious mind. And the conscious mind is the sort of like the action-based piece of us. So the conscious mind acts out what's going on in the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind's getting information from the universe, the higher mind, the highest mind. So we want to develop that connection. So when we go inside, down into the unconscious, our belief system lies in there. So this is where all the beliefs that we have about ourselves, our world, how we perceive our life is down in there. And a lot of times we don't have belief. We make a decision, we don't like the outcome. We make another decision, we don't like the outcome. So we're just basically reacting to the outcome we don't like instead of going down into the depth of the unconscious, finding out what the belief is, and then changing the belief. So when you shift the belief inside, it actually shifts the neurology in your mind. So you create a new neural pathway. So you're actually like creating a new route. It's like you drive to work the same day down the same street. And it's kind of boring. Like you just kind of like, I need some excitement. So the only way to get the excitement is to change your behavior. To change your behavior, you have to change your action. So if you want excitement, well, what is it that's going to give you excitement? And then do you believe that you can have excitement? Do you deserve excitement? So you may want excitement, but if it's not coming to you, then maybe there's something inside you that's preventing that from releasing itself. So let's say you go down, you find out that you do want excitement, and you do find there are beliefs around that are limiting you, that aren't yours. We can release them. They're gone. The excitement comes up to the conscious mind surrounded with a positive belief system. Then you decide to take this road to work. And wow, this road is so exciting because there's mountains and there's the sun and the birds are out and it's just beautiful. So you have to go down to the depth of who you are inside to make the shift, to allow the behavior to change so that you can create a new action mode with your conscious mind. And then your reality becomes the reality that you truly desire from within. And people are scared to go down there. They don't want to go down there because they're not used to being in their emotions. But if you just move through the emotions, you have to move through the river to get to the other side. If you move through it, it's not so bad because now you've released it and now you're on to doing something exciting. Your reality is giving you the evidence that you can do the work. You do deserve excitement. And so what else can I do? And it sort of perpetuates and you sort of continue on that path. And then you basically become the creator of your life. So you've got to go down inside to that.
Yeah. And I think that I've been lucky of having a perception or a perspective, maybe I should say, of doing that inner work is a fun thing to do. I absolutely honor what you said about some people get scared to dive down into that, because that is one absolute reality belief system that you go down into those depths, and the depths of who you are can be scary. But for me, I feel blessed to have easily attached onto that perspective of this is really fun work. And I think that's a lot of what fuels me in doing the work and shifting that I do with other people, is that it's fun to have these aha moments about yourself and like, where have I been blocking, and so many different amazing ways that we can really tap into this energy and use it to expand ourselves in our life. So I'm super excited because you're going to take us on a quantum awareness exercise today. Yes. But before we do that, first of all, I just want to ask, because my computer screen went weird and I don't see myself on the screen anymore. Do you still see me?
I see you.
Okay, perfect. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to hope I'm right on my face right now. One question of Mike Capo, who is just a very, very insightful, awesome, deep guy. Love having Mike around. Mike said, what role does the subconscious play in relaying info to the conscious mind? So in that connection that you talked about the universe is feeding the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, and that's communicating with the action part of ourself, the conscious mind. What role does the subconscious mind play in relaying information?
Let me think about that.
All right.
So it's a delivery system. It's like, imagine your conscious mind can only hold 5 to 7 bits of information at one time. So that's as much as you can hold consciously. So you're sitting here, we're doing the interview, maybe you're thinking about having a glass of water, what your kids are doing, maybe you're looking at the weather outside, and what are you going to do after the show? And then you've got this other thing buy groceries or whatever. So now you're tapped out, right? You've got your 7 things. Your unconscious mind is like an automatic recorder. Since before birth, it's recording everything that happens. So if you imagine a sheet of paper on the floor in front of you and one on top of the other, all the way to the moon, that's how much information your unconscious mind stores. And you would know for the Akashic and all this kind of stuff, right? It's like a template of holding all the records. So your unconscious mind holds all the data. So it's like a filing cabinet stored inside you. The conscious mind gets to decide, you know, what information do I want to pull out? What's relevant? What can I use now? So when we go into the past, we're actually accessing a file in the past in our unconscious mind to bring it to the now, to create something, to create our future. So it's like a perpetual cycle. It's like a cycling system. And that's how I would describe it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me this exercise so we have plenty of time to do this with you.
Yeah, no, it's just actually, it doesn't take very long. So I might be able to do a couple of things. So this is you want me to do it now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, perfect. So this is a tool. It's also a resource that people can use like at any moment of their day, at any time. I call it conflict resolution. So many people work in the corporate world or they work with other people. Maybe they have families, relationship, spouse, or sometimes we get into a conflict with somebody else because we have broken an agreement. So we make an agreement with somebody doesn't fulfill their side of the agreement, and then all of a sudden the relationship kind of frays a little bit. So this is going to be an opportunity for you and the guests to go inside, pull up a conflict that you've had with somebody recently, and we're going to shift the way we look at it. So when we shift the way we look at it, we're going to disconnect our emotion from it, and then we're going to find new resources for ourselves, how we can now relate to that person in the future. So it's about taking responsibility for our role on the unconscious level.
Okay.
And then being able to shift. So, you ready? Okay. So imagine a conflict that you've had with somebody recently. Perhaps it was your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your children, or even a coworker. And just bring about that conflict. You had an argument, it just didn't go well. And you separated. Do you have something in mind, Emily?
I do.
Okay, perfect. So now I invite you all to close your eyes and now imagine yourself in that situation over there across the room. So I invite you to watch yourself over there across the room and bring about that conflict. See what you see, hear what you hear, and feel what you feel as you are now gathering resources and learnings and just asking your high self, what is there to learn from this so that I never have to repeat it again? And now just allow your unconscious mind to give you the answer. And you may have an aha. Oh, okay. Ah, perfect. And now this shifts how you see that person. And so now, come back to now inside your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. How is that?
That was good. I always come back slow from those kinds of energy exercises because I find that I tend to really travel. Like my consciousness really moves through different dimensions, and I feel a little space when I'm coming back. That was really cool. I'd like to hear you guys out there how that felt for you. Any takeaways that you have from that? Any questions that you have for Stephanie? I can tell you that this particular conflict resolution energy that I have been tuning into for this particular conflict, has brought me, I've been doing a couple of other exercises with this lately, because this particular one is weird. It stand out for me. I don't have a lot of conflict with people in my life, but this one has arisen in my life. And so I've been really working to come at it with compassion and with forgiveness. And I've been getting a lot of downloads that really help me assess the bigger picture about what's going on, about possibly even some private information about what's going on in the other person's life, which is why they're experiencing the anger that they're experiencing, contributing to the conflict, as well as me, like me taking the responsibility for the part that I'm adding in it. And it's been a really cool learning opportunity for me. And I'm almost to the space where I'm grateful for it.
Exactly.
You know, when you're really, really in conflict with somebody, though, your emotions get triggered. And so really get to that space of being grateful for the experience when conflict can be so nasty sometimes.
Yeah, because emotions get involved. So what we've just done there is, when you see yourself over there across the room, you've dissociated yourself emotionally, and you can now look at what happened objectively without your emotions involved. Then you ask for the learning, preserve the learning, and then, like you said, you come back into the state of compassion for that person and yourself. And you think, oh my gosh, like, did I really behave like that? Oh, okay. And then you can shift your behavior as a result, just from that simple exercise. You can do that anywhere. Maybe you had an altercation with the cashier at the grocery store. I've seen like a lot of things like this going on. And then people spend the rest of their day talking about it, when they could just, shift it like that, and then boom, get on with your day, like let it go. So it's all about the let go, letting go of that deep emotion, and then moving forward to the next.
And I find that so important right now, because as we're shifting as a collective, we are actually moving into that state of such present awareness, letting it go, that we don't create more cycles of karma. See, if you instantly let that go in that moment, and you don't keep replaying it all day, you can learn everything you need to know in that moment. You can move on without any positive or negative karma attached to you. You can move on completely neutral. And that's really the direction we're headed as a collective as we move through this time of enlightenment. Steph, you're awesome. Will you please tell everybody where they can get in touch with you, how they can connect with you, and tell us about like what kind of services that you do. Go ahead and give yourself a good plug right now.
Sure, perfect. So I do energy practitioner work, and I work in the quantum level with neuro linguistics. So I have a website, and my name is StephanieEngelsman.com, and I can type it out later on the chat for you guys. Cool. And on there, I have 3 different energy modalities that I do. So I have a monthly breakthrough program where we meet once a week, and we go inside and we clear out the emotional attachments to old traumas and old events. And the neurology shifts in your brain, therefore your behavior shifts, and boom, you're out the door in a new life. So this is really like intensely transformational. The other work I do is Reiki, which is a Japanese hovering of the hands healing modality. And that is to let go of energy blocks in the mind body, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. And also I do a little bit of Theta. So I've just been studying Theta Healing. And Theta is where you go up into the highest version of yourself. You become the creator. And then you clear out old beliefs that you have. And then you bring in the new belief system that you want. So I incorporate all of those sometimes together for a client, depending on what the issues are. So I've got my website. I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook group. Stephanie Engelsman Coaching is the name of my business. And I'm also on Instagram with my name, Stephanie Engelsman. And what else? I offer vision board workshops. I just started doing that. So that's now going into your heart space, pulling out your desires, creating a picture and words of affirmation, and putting them on a board, and then putting the board up above your eye level, because these are the windows to where we create, and these are the windows where we access visual information. So if your board is down here or down here, you're in your thoughts and your feelings, you want to put it up here and remind you. And I do meditation once a week in my house. So I've got this ball rolling now. So everything is catered to releasing the old and bring in the new, and let's do it now and get it done. It's not talk therapy, it's hypnotherapy. And it's like, let's go in, let's get it, and done. So, but really, I'm really passionate about it. I get really excited about it because I see the people transform like right in the very first session. So there you go.
Yeah. I feel like you need that during this time you need that level of, let's get it done already. Because there's multi-dimensional after this.
There's so much going on in the world beyond worlds. Like it's staggering. Like you wouldn't even be able to. So let's get rid of all the stuff going on down here so we can tap into the infinite magic that's out there.
Yeah. Great tip. Up here. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
You know, that's another, maybe down the road we can do another one where I can talk to you about eye patterns and how we access our senses through different windows.
I would love that. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure to introduce you to my cool friend Stephanie. I love having such cool friends who do this kind of work. Coming up next, right after this show, I have Renee who's going to be on, and then we also have Jack Coleman coming up later on today. And I have to say, I did a major boo-boo and I double booked this broadcast right here. If you're watching it, then you might have missed Robin McClendon and Sarah Melinda who are doing some tapping. So make sure you go back and catch that replay because they are doing a tapping, which is always super powerful to show up with those ladies. Namaste, everybody, and I'll see you back here again in just a minute.
Namaste. Thank you, Emily, for everything. It's been great.
Thank you, too. You
Talk to you soon.